Good morning. Little technical difficulties going on with this live stream. So I think I'm live, and welcome to my Friday morning art talk. I'm Elaine, and you can find me on Elaine M. Bergstrom, an artist perspective, or on YouTube. And these will be posted on here. So I want to share with you a video that I actually just watched on Prime. It's called Nothing Changes Art for Hank's Sake. And I found it very inspiring. So, Hank, at the time of the documentary, was 87 years old. And obviously, it was filmed a couple years ago, so I hope he's still with us. But he was very inspiring. He pursued art his whole life. He had some successful shows. He wrote a book, but you wouldn't call him like in the mainstream of art. He's not really well known. But what inspired me was how devoted he was to his art. And, he didn't walk well. And I believe he lived in New York. And he would commute, or still commutes, an hour and a half every day to get to his art studio. And they showed his artwork over the years, and actually, his friends and different artists spoke of how talented he was, but it was his determination. He just had something inside of him, you know, that inspired him every day to continue, that process that some of us struggle with. So, do you take your art journey with a map, as we say? Do you have or use a map, or today it would be GPS, to find your way and navigate with your artwork? So, we know that maps are used for getting to a destination. They orientate us, they give us direction. We have a time frame usually set up. They're predictable. We know we're leaving here, we're going here, and we can get an approximation of what time we will arrive. But maps can sometimes work against us when we're on a creative journey or a trip. They don't allow for time to stop and explore, to wonder, and to discover. Often we know, okay, we have, 6 hours to get to that vacation spot, and along the way, we see all these wonderful things that we want to stop and look at, and we don't have the time. So the exploration, the wonder, and discovery are definitely part of the creative journey. So we know that maps have fixed points. Have you ever gotten lost getting from one place to another? Have you wandered off course because you saw something that sparked you? Have you felt like you've lost your spark? You've lost your imagination on your art journey? Have you lost your patience or even courage to, make something creative? Have you lost your frame of reference? So, if you've lost your frame of reference, um, for instance, have you ever driven and kind of forgot where you were going? I have. So, what do? Is I look for something familiar, that helps me get back home or back to where I need to go. I need to process that creative journey. So, the hardest part if you've been away from your journey, is to begin again, to begin with that, white blank piece of paper or that empty canvas. And you say to yourself, now what? You ask yourself, what am I doing? What materials am I using? What am I painting? Sometimes you just have to begin the course and not veer too far away just to feel safe and comfortable with beginning. Questions I always ask, do I have a spark? Do I have an idea? Do I have something that I'm imagining? Or do I just feel so out of it that I just need to start and, wet my paper and drop in some paint? So once we start an art piece, we have to make decisions along the way, which can send our art in a new direction. And most artists find that inspiring and exciting. Sometimes a new stroke or the use of a new color can totally change what we've done before. So we always say, change it up, try a new material, try a new brush. Sometimes just using a new material can change the course of our journey. And if I find that I veered and I don't like it, well, all I've lost is some time, a piece of paper, and possibly a canvas that can be repainted over. So I have to decide when I choose that new brushstroke or that new color, is it working? Should I continue down the narrow path that has not been treaded before? Or do I want to go back to that busy highway where everybody's painting that way? So if I've lost my way, I know I can start again. So often in classes, I share, there can be periods of time before I start a series of paintings or, feel that I can hunker down and start, painting or drawing again, or even creating a new class. So the best thing for me is to start going back to nature. I'm really drawn to natural things. I like to paint landscapes. I studied botanical illustration. So flowers and trees and water and mountains seem to be my appeal. So obviously with being in quarantine, I haven't been out as much, but I can look out my window. I can watch videos. I can look at books. So, some of the places I begin to get my spark or inspiration is going to museums and looking at what other artists have done before. I know some of the museums are starting to open up again, so that's great. I look at tons of art books, I have tons of books. Right now, you can get books online through your local library. You can watch free library videos with an app called Canopy with a K. Watch YouTube. I like to watch art lectures. I like to learn. Sometimes I feel I need to do some research. I have to ask myself, what am I drawn to? And what medium is that I'm drawn to? What artists have used it and explored it, and how have they used that? When the spark then hits me, that's when I can jot down in an art journal what my idea is, what my spark is, and I begin my creative journey. While you begin, you may question that you don't know how to create what you're imagining in your head. So, all you really need to do is find out a way to learn that technique. And sometimes the artist doesn't share the technique. So, you need to research how you can create that technique. So, in Chinese philosophy, which I've been reading a lot about, Zen, the Tao, and love to teach Sumi painting as well, and a newer breath brush and meditation class that I've created. They talk about first, there is likeness, likeness, and unlikeness. And when you apply that to the artist, most of us want to begin by creating a likeness of something, whether it's the plant in front of me, whether it's the barn in the field, the lake, the sky. Um, so I begin my journey by studying and learning how to create a likeness. Hopefully, at some point, you're able to achieve a rather good likeness of what you are studying. Maybe you reference from photos, maybe you do plein air. And some artists, very talented, realistic artists, often stay at this place because they've achieved such a great skill that their work is phenomenal. It looks real, but they've also kind of stopped exploring creativity, that wonder, that spark. So the third thing is then the unlikeness of it. They start capturing the spirit of what they're painting, and that's a whole nother talk on it. So when you get to the third step of unlikeness, you're really combining your techniques with your spirit and your spark. So I hope this helps. Please send me some questions if you have any. And I'd love to share more about this. One of the books that I'm revisiting right now is a book by Peter London. It's called No More Secondhand Art, Awakening the Artist Within. He also has another book out. Let me just flip it around so you can see it. And it's a very interesting read. It's not one that you can really zip through because it's almost like his philosophy. He's a professor, um, and did art himself, and I'm really enjoying it. And there he talks a little bit about this art journey and mapping and exploring. And his other book, I'd also recommend if you're looking for a philosophical kind of art book on creating, I'd recommend that. But if you enjoyed my video today, please like it and please share it. And if not, I hope you'll join me again for more art talks on Friday morning live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Until next time, thank you.